What's going on, guys? Kigerr here, and in today's video we're going to be going over Captain America for Dimension Duel, Omega War, and the current invasion. I'm joined by Reverie, a fellow content creator for Marvel Future Revolution. He plays 2.2 million Captain America, and we're going to be going in depth over his abilities, his choices, and we're actually going to watch gameplay and show you what's going on. As a reminder, comment section down below, you're going to put 1500 space and what's going on, guys? Kigerr here. And with the big changes to Captain America coming through, I brought on one of the bigger ones, Reverie. What's going on, man?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Reverie is one of the bigger Captain Americas, and he's also an up-and-coming video content creator. And you guys know I like to bring those guys on. At the end of the video, I'll have him tell you where you can find him. But starting right here, we have his build. This is for all of the PvP game modes, right?
Yep. So the first one you're seeing here is basically just for DD. Now I do use it occasionally in Omega War, but I start out with the big one, and depending on the targets inside the Omega War, I switch back and forth. Because this one's more single target than what I use for Omega War's big hits and AoEs.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead and let it play through, and then we're off to neutralization, the one that got the big buff, right? The silence.
Yes, it did. So that one got the silence. They did increase the duration, however. It seems to be working just as well. I don't have much cooldown decrease, but I really do not notice that change at all. And you still got the buff as well.
Yep, so you have a 2-second silence, but if you yourself as Captain America get good cooldown, you're looking at about 6 seconds on the skill and a 2-second silence. So that's
spammable.
Yep, about a third of the time your opponent should be silenced.
Yep.
And then you're using the taunt version of the Captain's Leadership.
Yep, I prefer that, especially at the higher end. You got a lot of heavy hitters once you get up to Avenger rank. So the shield can get knocked through pretty quick. This, decreases a lot more. So
two things to point out in the PvP game modes, Dimension Duel's one where you can definitely see it, is two things. One, let's say you were using the shield.
Yep.
All shields are 30 to 40% as effective as they say they are on the skill in Dimension Duel. Still trying to figure that out for Omega War. Ultron and your shield are 30 to 40% of what they should be. As well as this skill right here, it has two parts, provoke and decrease damage. So provoke, they have to attack you and target you, but let's say they get past the provoke and they're able to act normally. You're still taking the almost 60% less damage, which tickles you, right?
Exactly. That's the whole point of it. You can sit there even on through some big attacks. You just eat them right.
And Forefront is the one that got the part of it used to be untargetable. Now it's full untargetable, right?
Yep. And that doesn't seem too much different. I haven't noticed that big of a change yet. Because the pause between it on the backward dash was only like, a quarter second. But I think really the thing that helps us out most is that how am I trying to word it? But the new way they're doing it with the skills, how enemies can't even use them, I think that's the bigger benefit to that skill right there. Because you're staying in there that you pop a skill where before they could still, get that pop in.
Yeah, the untargetableness.
Yep.
And then we have the Whirlwind Indomitability, highest guard break, and your strongest skill, right? I think that's your highest damage.
Yep, and I play that really well with Provoke. Once they get caught up in that Provoke, I pop that one. Even if they get away, usually that tracking slam at the end hits them. So usually between them, you get a lot of DPS.
And we're talking about this is for Dimension Duel and War. One big thing to point out is I see a lot of Captain America's or even Magic's with their big guard break just focus on the guard break themselves. But
Hmm.
once you guard break the opponent, now you have to actually start knocking them down and stuff, right? Which your last two skills, Forefront and Indomitability, one does a knockdown, this one does a pull in. So that's one thing. So you not sure you break their guard. Now their guard is broken. Now you're just hitting them with high guard break skills, but you're not doing anything with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it works out well. You get that high DPS, and really you just need to keep them. If you guard break them, the whole key there is to finish them off.
And then this is a different skill build. Is this the Omega War build?
That's my Omega War and Alliance Omega War build right there. Now you
Okay.
see really the first thing that changed really in this that's only different now at this point is the first skill. We got Recruiting for Duty, which that is a longer cooldown, but the first attack is an AoE through the shield as well as the slam, which
So
compared to shield slice, you get that whole group effect.
one thing I noticed is you're not using the double damage to flyers skill in
Yep.
either of your builds.
Nope.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, then we have this right here.
Yep. So those are the specializations I'm using.
I'm
The
giggling
only
at the
thing
second one.
yep, and that's the one I swapped out. Now, before I was using Passion, but 3% in DD and Omega War damage is not a lot of healing, and you will not really see it at all. You think an opponent's got, what, 200k? You heal 3% of that, you're getting like 6k health. It doesn't worth
It doesn't even matter
it.
at that point. So
Exactly.
people are going to ask. I know they're going to ask about battle preparation right here, the red one. It's the localization issue. It's the whole going from Korean to American to English. Um,
Yep.
it's really straightforward. It's the that base number, the first number, the 9.2. That scale, so it'll be 10% once he's done, but once he gets more defense, it'll go up to 20%. Um, defense as defense rating, so it's 20% chance to trigger effectively. Decrease damage by it ends at 30%, so that's 20% chance to reduce damage by 30%. When successfully defending, that's the thing that confuses people. The
Yep.
successfully defending is that defense rating at the top. So it's saying when you trigger, reduce by 30%, right?
Yep. Now, one thing I do like to add on that is right now it's 9.2% of your defense. Your max is still, what is it, 20%?
Yep.
So if your defense is above that certain amount, you can still hit that 20% even if you don't have the spec all the way maxed out.
Correct, correct. But then you're reducing it by less than 30%, which is really what you're there for.
Exactly. Now I use that one over Unbreakable Will. You'll see in the duels we show later that there is a few people using that Unbreakable Will skill, and it does look like it does pretty well. It seems like the effect's very long, but I just
Mm-hmm.
want that upfront defense. I don't want to get burned out and then have to rely on that kind of skill. So that's why I choose that one.
So Yondu is here for some pretty obvious reasons. One, turns off dodges. Two, it's a bleed.
Yep.
The only thing that's bad about Yondu for you is the low guard break.
Yep. And
Is this for your dimension duel or something different here?
I use that for Omega War and Dimensional Duel.
Okay.
The reason I like Yondu so much is the AoE effect. And once you summon him, especially in DD, if somebody pops a dodge or a target off, he stays there and finishes the whole animation.
Mm-hmm.
So you can still get that chance if you play it right. Some
Oh
good
yeah,
players
I've
can get
seen in wars people getting the arrow off on widows that are invisible.
yep. And you could drop a lot of people if you just play it right and then get too aggressive and go into that.
All right, so I'm going to ignore the bonus and exclusives, but
Yep.
we'll just talk about the cards themselves.
Yep.
So it looks like you went mostly for the rolls instead of set bonuses.
Yep.
You
And
have
what I have, most of them, you'll see it shortly, is I just went for max crit, PvP increase, decrease, DP. And that was really it. Everything else was in there, just luck of the roll, guard damage, or
now
max
people are
damage.
going to ask, what's your thoughts on the magic cards?
I think the magic cards aren't bad. They just do not fit in the build since I'm going for maxed out everything else. I don't really have room to play with them.
Yeah, it's also going to
If
be
they
harder
possibly could,
now. It's also going to be harder now that you have to somehow get the 200% crit damage decrease, right?
yeah, which I don't even know if you can get that currently at all.
I know an Iron Man on, I think, your server, Elijah, who has
Hmm.
147%.
That's a good stat to have if you can get it up for sure.
And then you're going over the stats. As you see, it's a bunch of PvP stats, crit damage decrease, guard damage decrease. How deep are you into guard damage? I don't see a lot of it besides the Widow exclusive.
Not at all. I don't think I hit very much at all. I think I had about 30%, which we'll see, I believe, in just a second. I go through all my stats here.
Max accuracy, a little bit of dodge, crit rate almost maxed, crit damage almost maxed. Now, here's the question.
Yep.
Specifically, the crit rate, crit damage. Do you change that crit damage core when you go into Omega War?
Nope. I don't touch any cores. I share the same badge set between PvE, PvP, and all those
So
currently.
the reason I ask is because one of the enhancers gives you crit damage.
Yep.
So
And
you're way
you're right.
overcapped.
I could probably move it over to DP and pop an enhancer, but I rarely use enhancers as is.
Okay.
I just play out. I'll pop them occasionally.
I mean, the HP and defense ones do their thing.
Yep.
30% cooldown, almost max defense pierce, PvP up and down. 35% guard damage and 50% guard damage decrease. And the ranged and melee decrease is from your nanos.
Yep.
All right.
So
Oh, okay. Cinderella, he's normally at the top of the, and in the top 10 in my server.
he is very solid for an Iron Man.
All
Right
right.
here, I was just looking for mainly interesting fights. A lot of these during that climb this week weren't very eventful, so I picked the ones that had the most event.
Something to point out right there that happened in the beginning is he summoned Icarus and didn't do
Yep.
anything.
Which is another reason I'm not a fan of Icarus.
Well, so the reason why he didn't do anything is two issues. One, you were doing forefront, which is his target off ability,
Yep.
so he wasn't able to immediately attack you. And then two, forefront took you out of range, which he's like looking around, doesn't see anyone to hit, and then disappears.
Exactly. And you get the same effect with Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
So you effectively make their companion disappear.
And he's broke, and then go for the kill. Cinderella is also. It's good that I know who some of these people are. He's running
Yep.
Sakaar set, so he has
Hmm.
more cooldown than most people.
See, that silence helps you out right there.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't able
Hopefully.
to do nothing.
Yep. And then Yandu helped me at the end.
Now something to put. Oh, here's your boy. Eljat, another huge Captain America player. If I'm right, most of you guys like talk to each other and bounce ideas off of, right?
Hmm.
Something to point out for that last match, which I think could have changed things, is Iron Man has a specialization that gives him 25% HP barrier when guard broke. You
Yes, he
broke
does.
him twice.
Yeah. You got to worry about the trade off of the specialization. I'm sure you could probably get rid of the bleed or the burn effect one that.
That's the only downside is when
Um,
you do the swap specs, you can't swap specializations, right?
exactly. I think that needs to get in too.
Just take the gold off. It's not even a big gold number.
Yep.
All right, let's
There's a
see.
lot more.
You both do a pre-dodge, and something that you just did, but we didn't really call attention to, is when you use neutralization and they have Ultron shield, or even
Mhm.
Captain's regular shield, it takes off the barrier.
Yep, removes that buff, which is another good reason to use that skill. People like shield impact, but I prefer that buff removal.
Ooh, that was a big forefront. You saved your dodges, and then just kill him during the provoke,
See, he's got unyielding will right there, and you see how
which is
long
good.
it
Which is
lasts.
good.
Yep.
I've had some people complain about that one because they were like, "Well, it doesn't do anything," and I'm like, "Well, Widow would love this, having 35% instead of 30, and
Yep.
50% cooldowns when it triggers. That'd be nice."
Agreed.
Spider-Man. How do you feel about the
Yep.
Spider-Man matchup?
This one was relatively easy. There was not many in the queue that day, and this was probably the hardest Spidey match I had that I could put up here.
You just feel your
Yep.
status effect resistance and guard decrease is pushing you through.
Yeah, it's more hoping that accuracy lands and everything for that one. Here's Ant.
Yep.
Now this one will show you how good Doctor Strange's head got when people are not satisfied with the buffs currently. Ant does it very well.
Yeah, the spinning blades is damage decrease, melee damage decrease, which is tough for Captain America because all your stuff is melee.
Exactly.
So him having all this melee decrease is a lot for you.
Yep,
But
the
you were
crit
still able to
saving.
go for him. Ohms is as big, if not bigger, than you over here on what you call it, Hydra server.
Oh, he was a solid matchup for sure. I am not familiar with his build though. I haven't had a chance to look at it, see what he's running.
Oh, got the whirlwind. And if we take a look at the bleed up time, it's he's almost always bleeding.
Mm-hmm. As long as you can get that on land, that's usually the hardest part of it. It's the land. Another unyielding wheel.
Yep. It's just because it lets you get you can get like a double provoke or
Yep.
double whirlwind, whatever you're trying to do.
As long as you pop those skills right before you take procs, you should be good to go.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is
Right.
this one or one more.
I think there is only one more. I think I got no more after this one.
Bleed, silence, guard
See, and then
break.
I pop that dodge right as soon as he's done with Spin Blade. Do that with every Iron Man because you know they're going to pop guided missiles or something.
Momo is the only person I know still on the Captain Marvel
Captain
train.
Marvel. Yep. Used to see Night Eye, but I don't see nearly as much if he's still around.
Alright, he did the pre dodge just like you. There's the Yaka arrow, which kind of messes with how Momo usually likes to play.
Yep.
I
I
believe you
lost the
triggered his
Momo.
revive. Oh. Yep. See, even though how far away you were, you still get the knockdown. It's whenever he clicks the ability, it locks in how far away you are.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I didn't have a dodge. I was hoping I could get away, but it didn't work.
All right. All right. So now we're going to go into Omega War, which we went over the build already. I am actually going to speed
Yeah.
up the speed a bit, and then we're just going to go over what you're trying to do at as the game progresses.
Yep. So you know how Omega Wars are. They're not extremely balanced right now, and every match is different. Mainly just going for the targets with the points of the cube. And if I see groups of people sitting in there.
That's upsetting to see the three people on the left.
Yep.
It's okay. There's supposedly a system in place.
To get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if anybody going over there and attacking them technically registers as being there if they got on. If you see them attacking me.
Mm-hmm. They aren't very upfront about how it's working, but I guess if you just leave them in the corner the whole thing, then they'll be kicked. But
Nobody's going to do that. That's the sad part of it. So you can see I got all those high cooldown skills.
yeah, it looks like you're just trying to get the biggest AoEs going.
Yep.
And usually trying to stay in forefront as much as possible.
Yep. That's the main thing. You wait for those cooldowns to come back up, and then you hop right back in.
Now, the question here is: have you thought about going into Volstagg?
Nope, not at all.
Because his whole thing is obviously the heal. It heals more than Ultron as a shield. Having him on your board gives a melee damage decrease. And when you summon him, he also increases your HP recovery, which makes those crystals more.
Interesting. I did not know that part. I usually just like that Yondu because then I can do the same thing I do in
DD. That's the
for growth, the AOE and.
Mm-hmm. You just don't have to worry about it. That's the biggest thing right now is new companions or whatever come out. Like I see a couple Hulks or whatever here, and the thing that's the biggest issue is the material to rank them up.
Yes, it is. It's very hard.
So when you have Yondu maxed out, it's hard to go on to a new one and test anything because you need to have it effectively maxed out to even try it. And how are you getting that material?
Yeah, I got a few companions that are all level 60 that I've tried out. Daredevil, Icarus. Icarus is almost 60. Mm-hmm. And I just do not see them. It can't, if it works very well. The problem is getting it to work. For me, at least.
Now, the question here is sure, you're the point leader and you're definitely getting some kills. But when you have a more stacked war, are you seeing noticing the difference with the assist points?
Not really. I don't think points are changing that much, to be honest. I know they're there, but I still see myself. Because you're getting less kills on what I'm finding. Well, I'm also noticing in the few I have done a lot of bolts. Both is just extremely painful because there's a lot of people running them. And maybe we're targeting is already hard enough to lock on to somebody. So.
Oh yeah, imagine if 10 of these people have a Hulks, right?
Yeah, it would be extremely painful. Something I don't want to deal with.
Which that's what I've heard some reports about in the last Alliance Wars. Is a bunch of the top ones had 7+ Hulks.
Oh Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. We got a few of them in our group, but not many so far.
But yeah, just doing the regular Captain America thing. Run in when cooldowns are done. When cooldowns are off, use the run. You're the second fastest person in the game.
And
Uh,
I got to have the speed as well from my companions. It
yeah,
helps out.
I believe 6-star Yondu is movement speed, right?
Yep. I think Yondu,
And then
I
this is
believe.
PVE. PVE. So
Yep.
same. You change to the shield, and then the only other difference is subdue, which is there for the damage.
Yep. The thing you can do, I prefer that shield for PvE, obviously, because you give that shield to your team. Another thing I usually could run, and I used to run, not as much since I just use this for DZ at this point. With the
Mm-hmm.
bleed spec there, you can swap out that first skill, the shield slice, with that AoE one.
Yeah.
And you can swap out the bleed with regroup. And I don't show regroup here. It's the one that has a 50% chance to double your vibranium gauge
Mm-hmm.
recovery.
I played around with that
I
a little
use
bit
that.
too. Sometimes it will just let you go a release into a release, right? After the next rotation.
Exactly. So if you want AoE, obviously this will do more single target DPS, so it's better for DZ or anything along those lines. Invasion, it can do. Now this spec right there, skill set, is the one I'm using for invasion currently. If you look, every skill is the highest guard breaking you can.
Mm-hmm. So if you're doing that, because you're doing one hand-to-hand combat skill, are you
Yep.
using the hand-to-hand specialization?
Not yet, because I do not have it built up, but I
I've played
could.
around with it, and I like doing it
Yep.
with the 3 or 4 second hand-to-hand skill because
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have a cooldown, and it's whenever you use hand-to-hand, next skill gets damage boost. So you're effectively
Yep.
doing hand-to-hand between all your skills.
Yeah. And you'll see it once we do get to the invasion part. But the skills that I'm using,
Guard
specs right
damage
there.
bonus, obviously, bladed defense. So
Now,
you
the
are doing
first,
the scrag. Yeah, there we go.
I don't have her leveled up yet enough, but I use Stina normally for PvE, and I swapped over to Scrag, however you say her name for the
Mm-hmm.
invasion portion. Now, cards don't aren't really much different than PvP. The only difference you see, I got two double SVD cards.
Mm-hmm.
Stat wise, I trade the defense tiers to get to that portion.
The set 4 two-piece is probably really good for you. It
Mhm.
gives you the Nebula card is supervillain damage, and then there's the there's several supervillains on it that does supervillain decrease, and the two set
Right.
bonus is stamina um, stamina bonus. What I was curious about is you're not doing any of the guard damage cards.
You're right because I don't have any.
I mean, they finally
Mhm.
gave us a PVE game mode that needs it, right? So,
Exactly.
not
Before I
really.
was unlocking all of them and just running with it. So what I'm doing in this invasion, I'm using the PVE skills and specializations through the first half of it. Once I get to that later part, is when I switch over to the sharp shield and the high guard break. But right now, I'm just trying to burn them down with the skills I do have.
Okay. And anyone who doesn't know how this invasion works, you have that first wave of little like taskmasters and the blue guys. There's also a blue lightning thing around you. Once the blue guys are dead, the lightning goes away. Then you have these sentinels right here. As you see across the top, there's the little blue pips, which are the amount of these guys that are on the map. Sorry. That's the cooldown. That's the countdown for Magneto, and then at the top you have the number of these guys. As you can see, there's 3 and 7. So if you don't kill all the Sentinels before the countdown finishes for Magneto, they die and get respawned in the Magneto phase, which it
Yep.
looks like is what's going to happen for you here. Oh no, you
I
matched
think
up.
I got it just barely.
And you also have two bigger. I believe both of these guys are on my server.
Yep.
RNG is like 1.8. Nightmares is like 2.1.
Yeah, this was a complete pug group right here, just for video purposes. It just happened to
Uh,
roll.
and if anyone doesn't know, there's two phases for Magneto. As you see, they're working down his guard damage, and he has the health bar. Even if you kill his health bar, you have to get rid of his guard break gauge. And then he does a big explosion. And then he has 0 HP, but full guard break, thicker guard break, because it's the same 100%, but it seems like it's more. Um,
Mhm.
and then he's not attacking, but it's just always damage over time across the entire map. The red circle over here does total damage up and guard damage up. The blue circle does damage received down, and there's two of them. See, there's a blue one on over here, blue one over here, red over here. When someone runs over one of them, it disappears, and no one else can pick that one up until another one spawns. It's in a spawn cycle. As you see, he ran over. He's going over the red.
Yep, you got to get out of that fun bubble. I
Now,
can
what's
tank through
interesting, this
here,
is
but not.
letting people know, and probably something for you because you can probably do it. Is with something that's currently being tested, and as we learned from the Magneto invasion, stand in it. And what I mean
Yeah,
by that is take the hit to get your score up.
I can survive it in all the other tiers. I don't think I can in tier
It
5.
also does damage based off of a range. So if you're dead in the middle, it's going to do the most damage. If you're far away, then it's going to do the least amount. But
Yep.
it's probably best to just stay at the edge and take a little bit of damage as a point boost.
Yeah.
And then we're still in the first wave. 50% HP, one bar left. So we should see the, yeah, his HP is gone, but he still has 30% guard. Uh, Nothing's going to happen to him until his guard is gone. He does
Yep.
do
So
that where the guard break usually doesn't matter. A lot of people instinctively hit it.
yeah. So I didn't swatch over the skills from my normal set to guard break set. I probably could have done it earlier, but I went ahead and stuck with those, hoping with 3 guys we could have guard broken before his HP was down. But we
And
just
done.
run. Yep.
All right.
On
So
video, right?
go ahead. You maxed it out. You had 11.1. Some of the even like Halfson put out a video where he's pushing 13 but still hasn't hit it. So you as Captain America are keeping up with some of the bigger numbers in the game right now.
Yeah. I think in the end it'll still be the same as before, where it's going to be Storm, Black Widow, somebody along those lines, but
Mm-hmm.
we're at least needed now to get those high scores.
My only thing is, as I said, if you are able to survive some of those bigger hits and tank
Yep.
them, you might be able to see a boost in score.
Yep. And that's how I got the one Besto one. I think I boosted that maybe one day.
Mm-hmm.
Got like rank 12.
At the very end. Well, this was it's kind of running a little bit long. Um,
Yep.
Reverie, tell guys where they can find you and what they can expect on your channel.
Yep. So you can just find me Reverie from Marvel Future Revolution on YouTube. And as far as the content, I really just post our Alliance Omega Wars for the group. I have done a DD few Omega Wars, and I'll probably do more as time goes on, but that's really all you'll find over there.
I've seen a lot of people enjoying your Dimension Duel stuff, so maybe it's something to look for in the future.
Yep, I didn't get a chance to complete the video for this week, and I ran it when I was undefeated, climbing to Avengers. I'm gonna try again either this week or next week and see if I can get one of those going.
All right, guys. Till next time.